How do you describe what it is you actually do? I think it's really cool, but how do you typically describe it?
Basically, what we say is we provide patient treatments for PT and OT and show exactly how to document it. So instead of just giving activities like everybody else out there, we show exactly, we keep it engaging and how exactly to show your skill in your documentation, because nobody likes that part.
Yeah. So you're sort of fighting like a frustration or a staleness or a burnout problem, right?
Basically burnout. We fight burnout and the annoyance of notes. I mean, we might write about notes, but we also hate notes.
Yeah.
And we like it, but we make it easy because it's frustrating.
Excited for the episode you're about to hear. You're going to meet a couple of ladies who call themselves the Note Ninjas, a PT and an OT duo who got together and bonded over this similar frustration in how long it took and how hard documentation was. So instead of just bitching and moaning about it, which is what I do a lot of times, I'll be honest, instead of just moaning about it, they were like, what if we could create a solution? And then they went and did that. And you're going to find out how they created the solutions. They also bonded over like, I just want to need some treatment ideas. Like, I'm doing the same thing with these patients over and over again. I'm seeing the same types of patients and I'm doing the same things, but I just wish I had a new idea every once in a while. So they were like, well, what if we collected all these new ideas and put them in one spot? Hear how they got there. They're called the Note Ninjas, and you'll see why. So very excited for you to learn from them and just sort of hear their story. And I think it'll resonate with you. Here's a question for you too. Would adding an additional $290 per patient per quarter help your clinic? Of course it would. Remote therapeutic monitoring, a lot of people are talking about it. It can help you do that. And this organization that's sponsoring the show can make it simple. They're called Physiotech. Find them online at physiotech.ca. That's physiotech.ca. Go there and find out how you can implement remote therapeutic monitoring simply. Also, want to thank our friends at MW Therapy, still delivering a modern all-in-one outpatient PT EMR with the built-in things that you need, like the built-in patient portal, the marketing automations to make things seamless, billing features you want, all together in one thing at a great value. Find them online at mwtherapy.com, where switching your EMR is easy. Let's get to the Note Ninjas. Let's bring them in on today's episode. Have fun with this. All right, you ready to set go?
Ready, set, go.
Let's do it. All right, here we go. Kicking the episode off. Joining me on the show, the Note Ninjas, a PT and OT duo who provide skilled care tips and documentation support to other PTs and OTs, and they fight crime in their spare time. I might have made that last part up, but welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Pinecast. The Note Ninjas, Nicole and Stephanie. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so your background, I might have made the crime fighting part up, but it sounded too good. Duos, ninjas, we get the idea. When people find out, either professionally or personally, that you do work with something in the stratosphere of the internet called the Note Ninjas, how do you describe what it is you actually do? I think it's really cool, but how do you typically describe it?
Basically, what we say is we provide patient treatments for PT and OT and show exactly how to document it. So instead of just giving activities like everybody else out there, we show exactly, we keep it engaging and how exactly to show your skill in your documentation, because nobody likes that part.
Yeah. So you're sort of fighting like a frustration or a staleness or a burnout problem, right?
Basically burnout. We fight burnout and the annoyance of notes. I mean, we might write about notes, but we also hate notes.
Yeah.
Nobody likes it, but we make it easy because it's frustrating.
Well, that's the idea, right? Is like, if you could defeat them and make them go away forever, we all would. We can't. So we might as well figure out a great way to navigate these things to get through them so that we come out clean on the other side, so that you're not so burnt out for your personal life. So you're not so burnt out for the rest of your day in terms of patient care. So really this is protecting, it's arming you. I mean, I feel like we do have a lot of crime fighting terms, right? Fighting burnout, arming you with good skills, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. Totally.
How'd this come about? Because you guys are a PT-OT duo.
Pretty much we wanted to start this because when I started off as a new grad, I was like looking on the internet for hours and hours on Pinterest, and I don't even think Instagram was like a thing when I first started. I was
That's how
looking,
long ago it was.
I mean, I'm not that old, but like I think it was like just starting out. Like the whole like OTs and PTs on Instagram like wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So I would like look on Pinterest for hours and be up, and like I was just so frustrated because I couldn't find like the resources I wanted. Pretty much what I wanted was a library of interventions and tools that I could use and put to use immediately, and then ways to document them and just like simple ways to do it. And so we were frustrated that we couldn't find it, and we decided to do something about it, and we developed it ourselves.
I love this. And it's a simple theme. It's super simple, not easy though. I don't want people to confuse that, right? So the idea of simple is you had a problem that just you two had, or just you individually had, and you looked for a solution and you didn't find one. And you said someone should, or someone could, or why don't they, or why shouldn't someone, or how it should be easy. And you looked around and someone didn't do it, which I think a lot of people did or still do. And you took the next step, which is where the theme that if you listen to this show on the reg, you start to see like that is the beginning of an idea, an opportunity for success. It's the next thing that you did that actually led to you guys being the Note Ninjas, which is what was the first thing that you did? Because if you didn't do it, you created the solution that you needed. If you didn't do it, it wouldn't have been there. So what was the first, do you remember the first thing?
We basically started posting on Instagram, just more like, I guess, activities and just, what everybody else is posting. And people came back to us and said, oh, we love that you gave an idea how to document this, or we'd like to learn more about something else. And we seriously just, for basically a year, actually, we were on Instagram, we did a little affiliate stuff, but we listened to what everybody wanted. And then we went from there. So our first thing was actually a balance guide. And we just seriously listened, and everybody bought it from the beginning. Like, it was insane.
Mm-hmm.
But it took us a while. We built everything from like feedback and what people want to see from us. So we basically grew in that first year, and still really do.
What a crazy idea. You listened to either your audience or your future potential audience. And then you were like, hey, yeah, no, we do have that problem. And then you looked at each other, I'm guessing, or looked inward and said, could I create a solution for that with the tools that I have, right? Because there's a great quote, and I don't know who said it. Somebody will correct me in the comments, which is like, you don't go to war with what you need. You go to war with what you have. So if you were like, we should create cartoons, and you're like, we don't know how to design cartoons. Great, cartoons are out. We're going to do videos. Great, because I have a phone. So you created with the tools that you had already and knew how to use. I'm guessing you sharpened your skills from day zero to now. You've obviously gotten better. You've improved because you've done it. And you created the solution you wish you had there in the first place.
Right, because I mean, it takes time. We go through continuing ed classes,
we do a lot of
research stuff. We also say, like, you take a continuing ed class and it goes into hours and hours about. If you're taking a stroke class, it goes into hours and like the brain first, and then they give you like the last 5 minutes is like activities. We leave that part out because as PTs and OTs, you should know that, or you know where to find the information. So we just give you the information you need without wasting hours. Like, I feel like I was just always taking continuing ed classes and really just not getting anywhere. Not to bash all of them. Some of them could be good, but
they're useful. They're useful.
Too much background. We just want straight up what we need.
And even in our blog posts too, like, we just cut out the fluff. We're just like, all right, it's A, B, and C. Like, here it is. You don't have to spend like hours and hours on our blog. Like, if you want to search a certain topic, you could probably find it in there, and it just like gives you an answer like right away.
So since this is a podcast, we are doing some video. I'll pop up the website, right? But while I'm doing that, when someone goes to the noteninjas.com, what are they going to find there?
We'll have our blog. We write 3 blogs a week. I'm very, like she said,
wait. 3? You guys are writing 3 a week?
Mm-hmm.
That's aggressive.
We have a system. We're 1 week on, 1 week off.
All right. But that's a lot of content. I mean, from someone who produces content. So walk me through it. We got, for the people watching the YouTube stream, we've got their website up there.
If you go to the blog, I mean, there's a lot of blogs. There's a lot of information.
But you can, if you need like a specific topic. So like at the top, you can see all of the topics. We don't have a fancy search engine, but maybe we will one day. But yeah, if you go to say grip strength, you can find tons of different ideas with grip strength. And then we typically, I mean, all of our blog posts are kind of structured differently, but like some of them have some documentation tips. Some of them have evidence-based research. And they all just have like, different ideas that you can really just put to immediate use.
they're not super long like some of the board ones. So we do write 3 a week, but we don't go on and on for a long time. You can read them like within like a minute or two.
But my guess is your audience isn't looking for long. They're looking, I mean, you're solving a problem you had in a way that you said, I wish this solution existed. And then you did that. And there are some people I bet who are like, I wish their stuff was longer. And you're like, but we don't do that. So if you want that, either you make it or hope someone else made it. And then if they didn't, you're stuck with us, right?
Oh yeah. I lose focus very quickly. So it's like, I just need, like I'm just I'm thinking there's a lot of other people like us out there that also probably lose focus quickly.
Yeah.
And
well, they're busy, right? They want a solution decently quickly, right? I need an answer now. I've got a patient in an hour. I'm just frustrated. Grip strength. I need a couple ideas. You got a couple ideas. What do you got up your sleeve, right?
We leave out the fluff. That's what we always say. We give the information without all the extra fluff.
All right. You touched about it. Touched on it a little bit, and I love this, which is, I want each of you to pick one. Is there one instance of feedback that you got from somebody who used the thing you spent time and effort to create that you're like, yeah, this is why we're doing it? Is there one that comes to mind for each of you, that feedback you got from a therapist or something?
Yeah, I mean, we get emails all the time, but one most recently I got, they compared it to gold. They said the investment is worth it's worth in gold because it is just that good. Because once again, we just leave out the fluff. Anything that you need, it's right there. And this is what I'm talking about our membership. It's all there. So that was like one of the feedbacks that will always stay with me. Just like that comparison to gold.
All right. Besides gold, you can't take that one. What's yours?
And I was going actually through some of our testimonies yesterday too, but somebody was saying how they took off for a couple of years, like raised their kids and stuff, and they were feeling nervous about getting back into the profession. They found us and they felt more confident again, brushing up their treatment and everything, just being able to do it quickly and having it. And so many people say they're just starting out or changing different areas. Even people that have been there. I think somebody said that she's been doing therapy for 30 years, but we inspired her to like love her career again and get more ideas. So it's just nice knowing it's actually like helping people like love their jobs and feeling more motivated again.
How great is that?
Yeah, so really we're helping, like, it's not only just students and new grads, it's also like people switching the field, but also like people who are just burnt out. Like they've been doing the same treatments over and over again. And they come to our resources because like they need just like a refresh.
There's some people who go to conferences and some people don't. And this is not an advocate. I'm not telling people to, but if you do go, even if you hate conferences, right? Even friends of mine who are like, I hate conferences. Even when I sucker them into going, when they leave, they're like, hey, I kind of felt juiced up being around other people who like the same stuff and they like the same thing, but they do it different ways. And I was like, cool. I like this angle. I'm not a fan of that angle, but I'm able to pick. And I feel like that's what you lose when you graduate from school. I mean, for me in PT school, 3 years around the same 37 people. Sometimes they drove me nuts. A lot of times they drove me nuts. But it was always this bounceability or bumpability of ideas and learning new stuff. Maybe in PT school it was a little too much because, it was like drinking from a fire hose, that analogy people always use. But when that fire hose gets turned off and you're doing it a certain way for so long, it's going to feel a little grindy. It's going to feel a little burnouty. So what's the difference between what you do on the website and membership? Like, what's the one step forward? What do you offer people? What do they get when they get inside?
So our membership is we keep everything very simple. So we lay it out in different categories. So if you have a patient with Parkinson's or stroke or dementia, we also go into just like ADL, therapeutic exercise. So you could go right to the tab, and then we have like sections under it with different strategies or different like parts of the body. And then we might do a 30-second video at the most, really quickly showing the exercise. Then we write what it is, and then we'll have like modifications, and then maybe 10 to 20 different ways to document like each thing. So basically you can find what your patient looks like. And we always say you can modify it accordingly, but we have so many options that your patient's probably really demonstrating one of those anyway. Then we also, to make it even easier, because everybody just wants the documentation, we have a whole section on documentation templates.
Mm-hmm. You can really just copy and paste just right from there. Take exactly what you need, print it out, have it as a reference. And then once you get really good at it, then, it's there forever.
I mean, you're fighting sort of the monotony of documenting because it's got to exist, right? We're not going to get rid of it anytime soon anyway. You're fighting the monotony of documentation by saying, great, we did a bunch of thinking a while ago for you. And if it fits this, now keep in mind, you might have to modify it if it's not exact, but these are a bunch of examples.
Mm-hmm.
So you're fighting the monotony of documentation, but like, we did a bunch of thinking for you. So here it is. Just get through this, because that's not why this isn't why you signed up to be a therapist. You signed up to be a therapist because you wanted to treat people. This lets you steal some of that time back.
Yeah, as we say, like, we want you to be able to enjoy your treatments, get your patients, let them achieve their goals. Plus, we have the evidence-based treatments to support them so they can have more ideas. But you also need to have a good work-life balance. You can't be taking your documentation home and doing it for hours. That's going to then wear off onto your career, and you're not going to be happy. And so there are easier ways to do it.
And most people in rehab are not getting paid for doing documentation. So, we just want you to be able to document as effectively and efficiently as possible. Documentation is so important. You also it's not only just like an annoying task you have to do, it's like legally, like you have to do your documentation, right. You have to do it well. And it's just like important for so many things.
When people outside of healthcare find out what you do and then they find out about the documentation, like, wait, well, why people are, spending money or time on your website to figure out how to document better? Like, what's the reaction of people outside of healthcare? Like, yeah, this problem exists so much that we created a simple solution and people flock to us.
Actually, I've gotten people that are like, oh my God, they should have this for this profession and this profession, because it's not only like documentation for like healthcare, but like there's also like, my husband's a police officer, like they have they have to write reports. Like it's just like in every profession, there's like report writing. So they do find value.
So I don't know, side gig for the husband might be creating.
I did bring that up.
Side gig for police officers. Yeah.
And we could really fight crime.
So you guys, did you guys like how'd you meet? How did you figure out that you guys had this same problem and that you actually cared enough to collaborate and do this? Because as you mentioned, there's work to this, right? For every minute someone's on your page enjoying something, you had to put, 20, 30, 50 minutes into creating that thing so it was good. How'd you find out that you were both had the same problem and then willing to put some extra time into solving it?
I'd say Stephanie's definitely like the business entrepreneur
nice.
Brain, and I'm more of like, I guess, the creative.
You can organize my brain.
Yeah, organizational brain. And I don't know, like she was always bouncing ideas.
I used to do like a million different things. So yeah. Like, how about this? How about this? And one day she's like, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Finally, out of like the 300 ideas that she pitched to me, I was like, you know what? I think I like this. And I think we should call it the Note Ninjas. And then we just did it.
Well, I was going to ask that, but that's a little like I was going to avoid it. So okay. My background being a radio DJ, the one question you're really never supposed to ask a band is, where'd you get the name of the band? Because it's kind of a lazy question. But you know what? It's a little obscure, right? Not many people in PT have a pseudonym. So where did ninjas come from? Was it the fight? Why ninjas?
Honestly, I think we just kind of were bouncing names off each other, and that was like the one. It just stuck. I don't know. I think did I come up? I think I came up with it. Yeah.
People love the name though. Yeah. I really think that helps us. Like, especially get our name out there more.
From ninth grade English class, right? You got the alliteration of the note and the ninja. So just run with it.
Yeah, why not?
Where's this going? I mean, you have no shortage of problems in documentation. We'd love to fight for less of it, and there's always ways to work around it. You create a lot of those ways. What's something in the last year or so that you guys have gotten into in terms of sharing information or creating resources that you see becoming more widespread the next couple of years?
We had started this membership about a year and a half ago, but actually recently, last week, we expanded into pediatrics. So now we have actually a separate membership. So we have the Note Ninja memberships for basically adults. And now we started a pediatric membership. We're not best at peds, so we did get two of our friends to help us do that. So we're collaborating with them, and we just started a week ago. But there's already sections in there. We're working with them using what we've learned from doing our membership and helping them grow out of membership as Note Ninja Peds.
And now you've got a brand, right? So right. People will say, "Oh, I get it."
Now we're actually starting. We tell them.
Yeah. All right. This is exclusive news.
All right.
Give it to anyone else before.
So now, well, we have our membership that's basically a go at your own pace. Like people could email us and we'll add it, but we're actually adding another tier next in the next like 2 or 3 weeks, a gold tier, and it's going to be like more personal information. We're going to be bringing on guest speakers that we have lined up on like specific topics. Some might be like working with difficult patients or vestibular, and we're going to have them come in and give like an hour like Zoom meeting.
And it won't be boring, we promise.
Not like
we're fun.
And we're going to make sure that we have like a PDF that we could give them with like documentation specifically for that. And it's going to be, we're going to work through patients together. We can do like some of their more difficult patients, work through it as a group and different activity ideas and stuff like that.
We'll have like a private community for everyone to connect with and really ask questions. Because we do have a question and answer on our membership. I think a lot of people don't like to use it. We get more personal emails. So I'm hoping that having the community feature will like get people to like ask the questions. And then like, you know, I would say we're experts in this field, but at the same time, like there could be other people that can answer and like contribute their responses as well to, you know, everyone can help out.
So many large scale organizations don't do this. Most of them, large organizations. And I talked about this in a quick video a few days ago because I work with some large organizations and I present them examples of things that you're doing. And I say, right now, you're a large organization. I call them T-Rexes because they're big and they have a big footprint and they're loud and you can hear them and see them coming from a mile away. Mm-hmm. The problem is, what do we know about T-Rexes? They got no reach, right? So they never developed a way to adapt or communicate because they didn't have to, because their only job was to get big. And the problem is when you're that big, evolution takes a while to learn a new skill. And then I changed the analogy a little bit. I say, listen, large organizations are like aircraft carriers. So when they get there, they got all this power, all these ships, all these missiles. They can do a lot of good, except they can't turn on a dime. Like you can't turn those things. Like you want to make a left turn, you need like an hour and a half notice. Whereas I feel like you guys are more of a speedboat, and you can turn and change and deliver things quickly that are custom. So this is a pretty cool. I mean, what you did in my mind is very, very simple. Not easy, but simple. And then you just kept repeating the simple. You were able to put enough brain power and energy. You cared enough to keep doing, which, by the way, a lot of people can have a really good simple idea and not have those other things. And that's why they don't succeed. And you had all the elements. So good for you. So this is just a natural evolution, to go back to my T-Rex rant, which is you're evolving. But you're evolving at a good rate, because had you tried to do what you're doing now on day one, my guess is it would have been too much. Mm-hmm. You didn't have the audience. You didn't have the feedback. And now you grew with it. What's the timeline on this? When did you start this again?
We probably did like 4 years ago. We were saying it has taken time. We've been very consistent for those 4 years. And that has definitely been...
Yeah, it's simultaneously a long time and not a lot of time. Like it's from one aspect, it is a long time. The other aspect, it's not.
Yeah, I think what set us up for success is like that first year, we focused on just like an audience and like kind of just like narrowing down a niche. And then we grew email list, and then we did our website. And, I think like the slowness was good for us because it made us like back and like, we just released one product at a time until we got to our membership.
We didn't feel pressure either. We were kind of just doing that on the side and helping, and it was fun. It kept us motivated. And gave us something to look forward to. So we weren't, sometimes I feel like people feel like a pressure to like do it really fast. And like you can, I guess, but I like the way we really listened, we focused, and we like built it so what we can do and what's helping other people too.
Yeah, but if you had done it too fast, you would have burned out. That's my guess. If your goal was to get huge, you would have skipped steps and you wouldn't have grown at the right rate. And it wouldn't, my guess is anyway, it wouldn't have worked.
Right. That's what we think too. So we're very happy with the way it went. And now we're having so much fun with it. I mean, I could do it all night and have a blast. Yeah. So at 10 o'clock last night, I'm like, oh my God, I'm still doing this. But like I wanted to and didn't realize. So
I don't consider it work. I'm like doing it on the weekend sometimes. We're like, I've never worked a weekend. So like the fact that I'm doing this, but like it doesn't feel like work. It's like something that we're actually passionate about. And like we love the people that we get to interact with, because we get to interact with therapists all over the world. Like we just put out a poll to see like where people are from. We have people from Norway, Canada, Portugal. Like it was just crazy. I'm like, it's so amazing that you can connect with all these people online.
I was talking with a client 20 minutes before this conversation started, and we were talking about audience. And they were like, well, we're just focused on, you know, the demographics of who our audience is. And I said, I got to stop you right there. I don't know if you really care about demographics. A little bit, right? It's cute to know that someone's from Norway and all these places, right? But the reason you're able to hit such a big demographic is because you didn't focus on demographics. You focused on psychographics. You were like, we have this problem. We are going to oversolve it over and over and over and over again. And we're going to do it in different ways. And we're going to stick to our guns. We've been to Con Ed courses. They're boring. We're going to be what? The opposite of whatever we like. We're going to take, it's like only liking the icing on a cupcake. It's like, what are we going to make? Only icing. That's it. We're only icing cupcakes, right? And you did that. And there's enough people in the world because of this thing called the internet where they will find you. They will. And good stuff gets shared. Why? Because it's good. Period. That's why
it was real fast because people just kept sharing us, like especially in the beginning. Like, yeah, it was great. Like it's content out there and helpful.
So I gotta ask, like with as much visual and cool stuff as you do, I mean, I don't know if you've listened to a couple episodes that we've done in the last few months. I got burned out on doing this thing. My background's like, you know, I was a radio DJ for 15 years, then became a PT. And now, I don't know, I do this weird thing, right? Where I talk to people about what they love and do and share good stuff. And I got burned out doing it after 6 years. And it was one simple conversation with someone and me really taking an honest look at myself, why I was bored. And I had gotten away from the things that had gotten me there. And I was like, oh my God, I'm doing this. Well, first of all, I'm in charge. But I'm screwing this up. I'm the problem, right? I feel like Taylor Swift. I'm the problem. It's me. And I changed it where I decided in the short to medium term, I was going to change my show, my podcast. And what if I could find people who were smart in geriatrics and pediatrics and dance medicine? What if I could help them launch a show? And instead of being a show, I'm a network. So instead of being Sports Center, what if I'm ESPN? It's a small change. It's like a 90-degree turn, but all of a sudden I got excited because I got to bump into other people and help them do a thing that they couldn't do without me and I couldn't do without them. So I got to ask, why isn't there a Note Ninjas podcast? Where's the YouTube channel? Not because I think you need to have them. To me, one of those at least feels like a fit because you're doing a lot of the lifting
we were
with a little
thinking about YouTube a little bit, but we're not totally sure.
I know. I think we're this year is like our big growth year. We do want to like get more in front of the camera. We kind of like stay behind scenes, but like, you know, we've been back on Instagram now. So like we're trying to like get out there more. So I think it's like a more of like a confidence thing. So like we were really happy that you know, to do this podcast.
But even doing it together is helpful too. So we definitely put ideas off of each other.
Yes, we really
and now we're breaking out to having more people help us. We have a bunch of different therapists I know from the past, like bringing in their expertise.
For the podcast audience, I'm making a gesture like we need to talk.
Yeah.
We need to talk after this. Because this is it's not what I do. It's what I've just started doing, and it's been super fun. So as we talk right now in early May, and we'll release this in a couple of weeks. We usually have a week or two before we release. We're launching 4 new podcasts in the next month, and then 12 over the next 12 months. I'm spreading it out, but for me, the launching of a podcast, structuring all the stuff that overwhelms some people, super easy to me. It's the other stuff that's super easy to them, like people like you. That stuff, I'm like, I wouldn't know where to start with that. So that to me is like a great, like, well, how do you figure out how you can help and how you can that's the easy part. We'll figure out how to do that. But anyway, that's I hear someone doing what you do, I get excited. I don't know if you can tell in my voice, but I get excited.
It excites us too.
Yeah. All right. So we have a thing that we do on every episode. It's called 3 questions. Mm-hmm. Are you guys ready to do 3 questions?
I guess so.
Do 3 questions. 3 questions brought to you by our friends at Jackson Therapy, providing awesome adventures in patient care for patients who care about where they're going. Find them online at jacksontherapy.com. All right. Question number 1. Who is someone, you each have to answer these, by the way. So we're going to get 6 answers out of you guys. Who is someone the audience should know more about? Who is someone who does something that gets you guys even excited, that you'd be like, yeah, you got to check this person out. They do great things. It can be within the professions or not, just someone who does great work.
Oh no. I'll go first. So it's great. what should I say about her, who are new coaches?
Oh,
He
yeah,
helps
yeah,
us.
go for
So
it.
I'm stealing it though. So I think, well, you know him because he asked you to go to his live event. We just started working with Greg Todd. And
Smart
he
dude.
motivates me because he's just a happy person.
Just a
and
happy
brings
dude.
like excitement to it. We're super excited to go. Was the first week of June. I know he asked you to do it. I don't know if you agreed or not, but I think you should go. But we're super excited. Like we said, this year we're doing networking. We've kind of hidden that talk. So this is like our time to go and do it. But we just love his personality, how he cares about the whole family, and just really, I feel like cares about PTs and OTs, actually all healthcare providers getting somewhere. So
bottom line, Greg Todd shows up. He shows up like regularly and with that much energy. All right, so you can't steal that answer, by the way. So now you have to give it.
No, I can't. Well, you know what? Because we are, I guess we're entrepreneurs now, which like I never would have thought of myself like that. I didn't, I never identified as an entrepreneur until like more recently. So like someone outside of therapy world that I've been really following, Stephanie actually introduced me to her, is Amy Porterfield. She wrote a book, 2 weeks notice, about like going like being her own boss, and she does like courses and marketing things. So I've been like really following her and listening, and it's like just really motivating and just like kind of giving me a lot more like just confidence and passion and like in doing this and having like our own business and where to take it.
Someone has done it in a different way. Why not you in your way? I mean, and then sometimes, because we're humans and we have emotions and egos and all those things, we need like a little bit of proof. Like I need to see the person that did it. You can't just tell me people have done it. And when you can see that and you connect with that person, you're like, you know what? She told that great story. Why not me? Why not now? Why not this way? All right. So you didn't have to copy her. So good. You got a different one. What is something the audience should take a look at if they want to take a deeper dive into some of the things we talked about today? If someone was only, all right, here, so I'll reframe the question for you guys. If someone was only going to be able to go to one page on your website, what is the most valuable thing that you would send them to?
The membership. If you go to our membership page, it's like we have everything there. Like I'm honestly, we created our membership with us in mind because like it's something that we wanted. Like if I had this 8 years ago, like I would have been set. But
so there's a smart answer on several. Number one, entrepreneurial mind, draw them towards the thing but you've also said like you created the thing that you wish you had, right?
Right.
I created this podcast because I wasn't big at listening to presentations. I wanted to know the stuff, but I'm like, meet me at the bar afterwards to have a beer, and then I'll learn everything in 10 minutes because I don't have the time to listen for 90 minutes to not learn a lot in background. Give me the juice, give me the good stuff, then we're moving on, right? All right, so membership page, you can't steal the same answer. What is it?
I'm going to say our testimonial page. So
there you go.
Social
proof.
People, how much we've helped them, and just from new grads to assistants to people with 30 years, like we keep changing our testimonials because we seriously get so many of them. So it's a good page to really see.
Good. Final question on 3 questions. Again, both of you have to answer. Why should people care about what you're actually fighting? Why should people care about learning how to document or faster, more efficient, or bring in new ideas for treatment? Why should they care that you're doing that?
First?
Go ahead.
Because we're really trying to avoid the burnout. Like we see it's hard to get people to work, and the burnout is real in all healthcare. Like people see it, they don't talk about nurses, but it's definitely helping in PT and OT too. So if we can help provide people with these resources, hopefully we can motivate them and inspire them to not get as burnt out, have the time for their family and friends, but also feel like they're really still making an impact on their patients' lives.
And better retention rate for employers.
Yeah. Let's keep the good therapists in the game, man. Why are we losing good people? Like that's not good. We're net negative if we keep losing good people. All right. So you got the bad part of having to follow is you can't steal that answer. So what is it?
I did contribute, but I would say like your license is on the line. It's your name. It's not your employer's license. It's your license. So like if you're not documenting well, that could really kind of, bite you in the long run. So like you want to make sure that you are confident. We feel that we really help bring confidence to people documenting their writing skills. Your license depends on it.
Doing something well doesn't mean it has to be boring or take a lot of time, right? I mean, watch someone who's really, really good at something. And a lot of times they use less effort, less time, and get a better result. But that became because of the work or paying attention or honing your craft, so to speak. And this is a way they can do it. All right, last thing we do on the show, we call it the parting shot. The parting shot brought to you by our friends at the Academy of Orthopedic Physical Therapy. They're the leaders in ortho PT, part of the APTA. Now with their current concepts of orthopedic PT in its 5th edition, it is the perfect roadmap from anywhere in your career as an orthopedic PT to taking that OCS exam, that thing that maybe looms in the distance for a lot of people who want to be a better clinician. So the current concepts, that course, take it online right now in its 5th edition, and it'll get you from wherever you are to confident and competent to take and pass that OCS exam. Find them online again at orthopt.org. All right, parting shot. Ladies, last chance for a mic drop moment. I will let you each have your own. But what would you want to leave with the audience as we wrap up today's episode? Something you want to leave them thinking about or feeling?
All right. Well, we're going to do a collaborative parting shot. Okay, you are? Okay. All right. Well, mine is document like your patient's lives and your career depend on it. Yeah,
I love that.
And mine is, you can make something stressful easy. Use templates and use the Note Ninjas.
Sell it all the way to the end. But if you're offering a great solution, I bet you it's really easy to sell, right? Something you honestly believe in. You know that people get value and like using it, and they get more than they give, right?
Oh yeah, trust us. Every time we go through it, we always say how surprised we are how good it really is.
Yeah.
Like it really.
It's something that we would use. So we put out good content. We do. It's all very useful information.
All right, thenoteninjas.com. We'll put all the details where you can find them and become a member, and then find and use all the resources they spent time, energy, and effort creating. Ladies, thanks so much for doing what you do. You're a great example of, I want to be the change. I want to be the solution that didn't exist when I needed it. So well done.
Thank you, and thanks for having us.
All right, they said the best conversations happen at happy hour. Thanks for coming to ours.
Like what you hear? Tell a friend or leave a review on iTunes or Google Play.
The show today is brought to you by the Brooks Institute of Higher Learning, an innovator in providing advanced post-professional education. The Brooks IHL offers 7 on-site PT residencies, including orthopedics, women's health, geriatrics, pediatrics, sports, and neurology, as well as a neurologic OT fellowship, a competitive OMPT fellowship, and a speech therapy clinical fellowship. Therapists that complete a residency or fellowship through the Brooks IHL will markedly advance their knowledge and skills in a specialty area of practice. Learn more about how a residency or fellowship can help you advance your professional development at brooksihl.org.
Our home on the internet. PTPintcast.com. Created by Build PT. Build PT provides marketing services specifically for private practice PTs. From website development and hosting, providing content marketing solutions for PT clinics across the country. See what Build PT can do for you today at buildpt.com.
The PT Pintcast is a product of PT Pintcast LLC. It is hosted and produced by PT Pintcast CEO Jim McKay and CBO Sky Donovan from Marymount University. We talk PT, drink beer, and record it. This has been another pour from the PT Pintcast. The PT Pintcast is intended for educational purposes only. No clinical decision-making should be based solely on one source. While care is taken to ensure accuracy, factual errors can be present. More on the show at ptpintcast.com.